We just kind of discussed earlier how the billing works at the University of St. Thomas, when bills are sent out, any charges you may see on here. And this afternoon session we have here just explains the type of charges that any other additional charges that may appear on the student account. We have Deb Amon from the card office, and she explains the meal plans and anything with the express cards. And I have Tony Erickson from the bookstore, and he explains everything with the bookstore, new, used, rental books, how you purchase them. Any other questions you have with that, he can help you out with that. And then we have Kathy St. Mary from Health Services, and she'll explain everything that's involved with health services or any type of charges you may see that are from health services on the student account. And Deb, you may start.
All right. Well, good afternoon. Welcome to St. Thomas, and I really appreciate you choosing St. Thomas out of all the colleges that you had to choose from, and we're really happy to have you here and at the Taking Care of Business session. I'm from Dining and Auxiliary Services, and I've been invited to talk about meal plans and express accounts. I know you've gotten some information about the meal plans. I'm going to start with those. All freshmen who live on campus are required to have a meal plan. The meals come in blocks. Freshmen can choose from block 225, 180, or 150. And what that means is they get a block of meals to use for the entire semester. Meals can be eaten either in the view in this building, at the bins at South Campus, or at Food for Thought in Minneapolis. They cannot be used in any of the a la carte locations or like vending machines or anywhere else on campus. They do not work off campus. They do not carry over. For that reason, we recommend starting out with one of the smaller meal plans. All of the meal plans come with flex dollars. If you can think of flex equaling food money, the flex dollars can be used in the a la carte locations. They can be used in the view or the bins if your student doesn't have any guest meals left. They want to bring a guest in, or if they don't have any meals themselves. So meals eaten in the view or the bins, the flex dollars, any of the dining locations on campus, and those also do not carry over, but most people don't have a problem spending those. Commuters also are welcome to purchase a meal plan. If your student is a commuter, they can purchase a meal plan either at the card office, which is in Murray Herrick, the building with the clock on the front, or they can go to the Dining Services website and just download the form right off of the website. That can be mailed or faxed in. There's no deadline for commuters. They can do it even after the semester starts. And then students with special dietary needs contact disability services, like if your student is on a gluten, dairy, sugar-free, something like that type of diet, we do accommodate those needs. We also have a SAC meal program. So for students that have a conflict getting to the dining room, work, or sports or something like that, they can order a SAC meal program online, or they can just come to the card office. We do need 24 hours for that, and they pick those up in teas. And then we do have services for someone who's ill. They just call the dining services office or our office, and we'll arrange for a meal to be delivered to them. And then they would use their meal plan for that. Next, I'm going to talk about the express accounts. The express account is a debit plan spending account where you put money right on the student ID card. The main reason you would need this is for buying books. Some of you have different types of financial aid coming in, loans, grants, or scholarships. Those funds are going to be credited to the student tuition account, and in order to tap into those types of financial aid, you need to fill out the Student Express Account Agreement form. So your students will be getting their class schedule today. They can go to the bookstore's website or right to the bookstore. The staff will help them pick out their books. They'll add them up for them. They fill the amount out on the Student Express Account Agreement form, and then instead of cash or check for form of payment, they check charge student account right on the bottom here, and then that'll go towards any financial aid funds that you have, or it's a way for you to get a bill for the books. And some people want to get the books billed to the Student Express account. For detailed information on what the books charges are, you would need to keep the receipt. Because what you're going to see on the tuition account is Tommy Express card, and you're not going to know whether they bought a book or a sweatshirt. So you'll want to keep the receipt from the bookstore to know exactly what they bought. Besides books, you can use this at any dining location for like commuters once again. And this account can go off campus, Chipotle, Devani's, Noodles and Company. There's a grocery store, couple gas stations. I don't know if you want to know about all that. But you'll probably want to put something on here for them to spend off campus. You can start out with $50 or $100. We do offer a 5% bonus on cash or check deposits of $50 or more. So if you put $100 on their card, they're going to get $105 credit. And in the example where you're buying books with it, like say you're putting $500 on, you'd get a $25 credit on there. And it's just an example. Anything $50 or more, anytime that you make a cash or check deposit, you'll get the bonus. We're hoping to be set up to take credit card payments by fall, but I'm not sure about that. So for now, it would be the bonus on cash and check deposits. This account does not expire. It carries over. We offer refunds. So this is not a use it or lose it account. You make a deposit on here and you say, oh my gosh, I don't need that much. We'll give you a refund of the balance. So don't worry about putting too much or losing the money that you put on this card. And those types of things refunds would have to be initiated by your student, but they can just call us up. And then we would initiate the refund process for them. And upon graduation, we automatically refund anything that's $10 or more that's left on the card. If you do have questions about that, we're going to wait till after the three of us are done talking and then take questions. So next, I'll introduce Tony from the bookstore.
Thank you, Deb. I'm here to talk about books, and I talked to quite a few of you at the info fair that we just finished holding. Reservations, if you live out of state and you're not planning on coming on campus before Labor Day move-in weekend, I would encourage you to do a reservation. That way you would receive probably quite a few used books in your reservation box. A lot of the used books do sell out before Labor Day. So if you wait until you move in over Labor Day weekend, your selection of used books will not be as great as they are towards the first part of August. So reservations do open up on August 1st, and they will start pulling those books towards the middle of August and box them up. And then your student will be able to go to the reservation room, which is up on second floor above the bookstore, and they can pick up their box of books when they're on campus over Labor Day. If you live close by or you're going to be in the cities for a day shopping, we encourage you to stop into the bookstore starting the second week of August. By then, the second week of August, we should have all of our used books in, and we should have most of our new books available also. We just downloaded all of our rental titles yesterday, so those will be coming up on the website in the next couple of days also. So just hold off for a couple of more days before you start doing reservations. And if you come in person, wait until the second week. That way you're going to probably have about 95% chance of finding all of your books. The advantage of coming in person is you or your students can go through all the used books and look and find the cleanest ones. Many times the used books that we have never been marked, cribbed, highlighted in them. So you can get almost a pristine, clean book at a used price. When you buy a book and you sell them back to us at the end of the term, all books are considered used. So whether you buy it new or used to begin with, they're all considered used. And we expect people to do some highlighting and cribbing in it to a certain degree. We do, as I said, do have a lot of rental titles this year. Rental titles are typically 50% of the new cover price of a book. It's kind of like high school. You're not allowed to highlight or make crib notes in the rental books. And you do have to make sure that you return your rental book before you leave home for the semester. Otherwise, we do have to charge your student account for the price of the new book. So we send out reminders, and it's in our bulletin that we send out to students. But if you do rent, just like renting a movie, you have to return it within a certain amount of time. Otherwise, you do have to pay for it. If you should come in with your students to shop with them, ask for a second receipt. Students do need a receipt to return their books if they drop their course or switch sections. A lot of times students lose their receipt. So if you have a copy of the receipt at home, and hopefully between the two of you, you'll have one that you can fax to them if they need a receipt. There is a time limit on when you can return books. Tuesday, the second week of class, that's the last day to return books that you don't need, unless you drop a class, and then you have a longer window of opportunity, and you just show us your drop slip. We also sell Microsoft Office in the bookstore for your students' computers. We have both a Mac and a PC edition, and those are educational discounted prices of $89.99. Today, your student will receive an ID card, and once they have their ID card, they can just show that card to us, and then they're eligible to make a purchase at that price. If you're buying a Mac or a PC in one of the local stores, many times the salespeople will ask if you're a college student, and they'll tell you to check the bookstore for pricing, because our price is considerably cheaper than a lot of the prices that they would be charging you. We take MasterCard, Visa, American Express, Discover Card, and it's just like shopping at Target. There's no service charge on your charge, so whatever you're charging is what you'll be paying for. As Deb said, we take Express cards, and if you do come on campus, and we'll add up your students' book prices, they can fill out the Express form. They can walk up to Deb's office just one floor above us. They can put that amount of money on their student charge. By the time they come back to the bookstore, the money will be there. They can go through the cash register line, and away you go. So it's a very, very easy way to pay for your books, especially if you have a lot of scholarship money coming through. We also encourage students that if they need a book, they should never not buy a book because they don't have the money with them. They can always put money on their Express card to buy the book. So if they have a book they have to read over the weekend for the following Monday, but they don't have any cash, tell them to use their Express card. That's what it's for. And they can just put it on their student account. So they never should go without having a book. But we have these forms in the bookstore, and also Deb has them up at her office, and we work very closely together. So it's a pretty painless and seamless and very efficient process in putting your books on your Express card. We also encourage you and your students to like us on our Facebook account. During the school year, we put a lot of specials, announcements, special sales, one-day sales, promotions. So it's a good way to kind of know what's going on into the bookstore or the Tommy shop. And we also have a bookstore at the Minneapolis campus, but traditionally your student buys their book on the campus where they're taking their classes. So if your student will be taking educational classes, the education department is housed over at Minneapolis, so all their classes will be at Minneapolis, and all their books will be at the Minneapolis store. If they're taking their classes at St. Paul, their books will be in the St. Paul bookstore. And just to reiterate, Flex is food, and Express is everything else. So if you have Flex, is only good for food, you can't use it in the bookstore, but if you have Express, you can use it in the bookstore and various other places on and off campus. Thank you.
I'm Kathy St. Mary, and I'm from Health Service, and I just wanted to briefly touch on what Health Service, where it is, what we do, and some charges that might show up on your student's account that are from Health Service. We have two locations. The campus here in St. Paul, we're in the lower level of Brady Residence Hall, and in Minneapolis, we're in Terrence Murphy Hall. We're staffed by medical doctors, nurse practitioners, psychiatrists, sports medicine, physical therapy. We have a dietitian, so we're really well-rounded, and we see, for the most part on this campus, for sure, just college students, and so you can feel really comfortable having them come to our clinic. We work closely with athletics and also with counseling and psychological services to really ensure that if there's an issue, if there's a problem, nobody's going to fall through the cracks. We work really hard at that. We take appointments online. You can call or you can stop in. We do have walk-in appointments if we have time available. We also have a travel clinic, which starting next year, some students might decide to do a study abroad, and we offer the travel visit, which can include immunizations for yellow fever, Japanese encephalitis, typhoid, depending on where they're going. And there's not always a lot of places that offer those vaccines, so keep in mind that we are a certified travel clinic also. We have some prescriptions available in the clinic for minor illnesses. We have Z-Paks and antibiotics, cough syrup, and that's a charge that could show up on your student's account. So if they come in and they have strep throat and they want to just pick up a Z-Pak in our office, then we will charge them, and I think they're either $10 or $15. Most of the prescriptions are. So we charge that right to their student account. They don't have to have cash to pay for it, but we bill it to their student account. And that way they don't have to try to make arrangements, walk to the pharmacy or go over to the Minneapolis campus and go to Target. So if they're sick and they don't want to make other arrangements, that works out well for them. But sometimes there's prescriptions needed that we don't have in our clinic. In that case, they can walk to Pro Pharmacy. That's about 6 blocks away. And they can get the prescription filled there. They work really closely with our clinic. Or they can ride the shuttle over to the Minneapolis campus, which is free, and then they can get the prescription filled at Target. So those are a couple options. We submit all the services to insurance just like a regular clinic, and then whatever is left after the insurance pays gets put onto your student account. So if they have a copay, if they have co-insurance, a deductible, that would be transferred to their student account, and that's going to show up on their bill. It's going to say health services, and it's going to have an amount. It's not going to have detail what that was for. And so the best way to figure that out is to look at your explanation of benefits from your insurance, and the amounts are going to match up exactly to what's transferred over. So you'll see what the charges are for. If they come in and visit the travel clinic and they pick up travel supplies like bug spray or pills for, I think it's malaria. I'm not from the medical part of that. But anyway, those can also get put on their student account. So you might see a charge for that. And the other thing that can get charged to their student account is if they decide that they are going to purchase the Aetna student health insurance. Now that insurance is just for students that either don't have health insurance now, or it may be less expensive than their health insurance they have now, or sometimes out-of-state students, their insurance doesn't cover them here. So it's just an option for students. You don't have to take it. But if you did decide to take it, that premium would show up on their student account. And it's divided into 2 equal portions. So half would end up on their fall tuition bill and half on their spring tuition bill. So anyway, also we don't send out statements. So if you have a question about the billing, you're going to just have to call us because since we're a college health clinic, we don't do any kind of statements out. So always feel free to call with any questions.
Thank you. What I was just going to bring up real quick, this is the ID card that we've been talking about that the student will have. And just make sure that they carry it around everywhere. Like I said, the money will be put on here. They go to different food venues or the bookstore, wherever it may be. Also, this is how they get into their dorm. It's pretty much used for everything. So it's just a good thing that they keep around. If they do lose it, there is a $15 fee, I believe, if you do lose your student ID card. If it's damaged, I don't believe there's a fee. Is there? Okay. If they bring it in, it's free. Okay. So after all that, is there any questions you guys may have for us?
Just wondering, Deb, on the meal plans. My daughter will make 180, for example. Is that based on 2 meals a day per semester, do you know? Or is it free, or how does that work?
Okay, the question about the block 180, they average that out to be about 12 meals a week. So possibly could be 2 meals a day, but you want to factor in the different breaks like midterm, Thanksgiving. They might be going home for some reason. Some of them don't eat breakfast. So that's really just an average. And the nice thing about the block plan, like say they only ate 5 meals one week, they can eat more meals the next week. They don't lose any meals that they don't eat in a certain week. They're good for the entire semester.
So if they find out that the 180 is too much for the second semester, then they can always drop down?
Okay, and a question about reducing the meal plan. For fall semester, they do have until the second Friday to reduce it. If they don't choose to reduce it by the second Friday, they can reduce it for spring semester, and that can be done. For those reductions can be done either through the card office or through the residence life office.
Ma'am?
I have two questions. One is on the health plan. Now, I have a pre-tax spending account for all my deductibles and everything, and if it's running through the express account, how easy is it going to be for me to get statements or be able to pay for that, those pieces for that card?
Since we don't send out statements, but we still can provide them, so what your student is going to have to do is going to just let us know that they want statements. Sorry, I did not repeat the question. So the question is, do we send out statements for if you have a flexible spending account to use? And no, we don't, but you can, like I said, have your student just let us know, and I can email a statement right to their St. Thomas email account, and I can make a note so that every time they come in, that we just, I'll automatically do that because I'll see it every time. And that way you can, have access to a statement.
And the second question is, if they lose their ID card and there's fraud perpetrated on the card, I mean, what's the process for that?
Okay, the question is about if the ID card is lost or stolen. The thing that's really nice about it is it's a photo ID. I think maybe I've been here for 20 years. Once or twice there has been someone use the card in a vending machine. But really, as far as like going to the bookstore or one of the off-campus locations, because there's a photo on the card, the chances are pretty small. We do encourage them to protect their card because the cards can be used in secured areas like biology and computer labs. So if it's on a weekend and we're not open, they can call public safety 24 hours a day, or they can call us. But once they come in and replace their card, it automatically cancels the old one out. A new code is imprinted on the back, and the old one won't work anymore. So really, really small chance that anybody would use it for something else. But if it's in a secured area where there's nobody looking at the picture, someone could get in there. So that's the main reason we have them protected. But as far as spending goes, like I said, we've had a couple times when people have gone to vending machines, but I believe that we did reimburse some of those charges, and that's only happened a couple times.
That's what I was curious about. If the policy or the procedures around that are posted someplace so that if the card is lost or stolen, they report it right away, whether it's been used on it. I mean, is there a form they need to fill out or?
If the card's lost or stolen and the card office isn't open, I believe public safety does have them fill out a report. They report it lost or stolen, and they put a hold on it, so it can't be used. In our case, we can also put a hold on it, but usually if we're open, they're just going to come right over and get it replaced so it doesn't get used somewhere else.
Ma'am?
So when the kids get their schedules today, will it also list the textbooks that they need, or will that be available online?
Question is, when students receive their schedule today, will the textbooks be listed? Your student can go onto the bookstore website under textbooks, and they put their schedule in with their course number and their section numbers. Then they just hit the button, the enter button, and all the fields are populated showing what classes and what books are being used. It's very important that they have their schedule because they do need their sections. For instance, freshman English, there's like 50-some sections of classes, and each professor uses different books. So they have to put in 49 and not 39. And you can go on and see what the books are. You don't have to print out the class listing if you come into the bookstore to shop, just your schedule, because we have all that information right on our shelf tags.
Ma'am in the back first.
I have a question about the bookstore. If the student is using a credit card to buy their books, is there any way as parents or the bill payers to know if they're buying sweatshirts and sweatpants?
The question is, if somebody uses a parent's credit card, is there a way of knowing what the student is purchasing? Other than a receipt that they will be given, no. I mean, you can. We don't keep names and credit card numbers on file just because of legality and security issues. So if they have your credit card, I guess talk to them beforehand, and you can go online to our bookstore and see a good guesstimate what the classes are going to cost. But you can certainly ask them to ask for a second receipt that they can give to you for your records. And in many cases, you want a second receipt because sometimes the textbooks are deductible when you do your income tax the following year. So that's something you might also want to consider. Yes, reservations are made on the bookstore website. You go into the bookstore and there's a button over on the top left, textbooks, and you put in your schedule and choose what books you want. And then when you go to check out, it asks you, do you want to have them mailed or a reservation? And then you would just click on reservation. There's a $5 fee. We pull all the books and charge them out, box them up. And it's a good way of getting used books if you live a great distance away and you're not planning on being in the cities again until move-in weekend.
And ma'am, did you have?
I'm starting to think we overdid on the meal plan. So can we reduce that? Can we go online and pick a smaller one, or do we have to come and do that in person?
Okay, the question is about reducing the meal plan. It's not available online. I know that they'll take phone calls for that, but you can do it in person while you're here today if you get a chance. Their office is over in Coach Commons. There's a water fountain, and their offices are back by the water fountain. But no, I don't know why, but for some reason they don't have that form available online at this time.
Ma'am? I'm sorry.
For the medical insurance, are you affiliated with any specific group of doctors or anything like that for insurance purposes?
The question is if we're affiliated with any group, and no, we're not, but we are an in-network provider for most insurances, so Blue Cross, Health Partners, Medica, Preferred One, United Healthcare. We're in network, so but we're not an affiliated clinic. We just a little standalone clinic that sees college students.
And did you have one, sir?
I have a couple questions. So for specifically, if we wanted to reduce the meal plan, what department would I call? You said we could do that by phone also.
Okay, for reducing the meal plan, up until the semester starts, you do have to go through residence life if your son or daughter lives on campus. Once the semester starts, it can be done through the card office or through residence life. We'll have the forms available in our office too.
If I go online, what do I search for to find the phone number to call somebody to reduce?
Oh, so you would want to call the residence life office. Their direct number is 651 962 6470.
You were,
You were talking about the express card and loading it up with cash so that there was a 5% discount. I brought my checkbook today. Is there some place that I can do that?
Okay, for making deposits today, you'd have to come over to the card office. Our office right now is on the second floor of Murray Herrick, so 2 floors above the bookstore. We'll be moving to the first floor the week of August 6th. Otherwise, you can download the form right off of the card office website, and you can mail or fax that in. We will be open all 3 days of Labor Day weekend, so you can do it then if you don't get a chance to do it beforehand. And of course, the Tuesday before classes start is our busiest day of the year.
sir?
Is there a set of textbooks in the library on loan that kids can come in and read if they forgot them at home or something?
Question is, are there textbooks on reserve in the library? There are a few, some of the classics used in English, philosophy, but for the most part, no. Once in a while, a professor will donate a textbook, like a math book, but as a general rule, the library does not have a complete set of textbooks on reserve.
Ma'am, in the back? I'm sorry.
What about downloading books onto Kindle? Is that possible?
Question is on downloading books on Kindle. If you go to the bookstore website, on the bottom of the front page, there is a link on how to download ebooks onto your Kindle, your iPad, etc. Not all ebook or electronic books are available to do that. It just varies by title. So you can try it. Traditionally, in the university bookstore market, there's not a lot of ebooks being sold for the hard science classes, the biologies, the chemistries. It's pretty easy probably to read maybe an English, a philosophy book on your Kindle or your laptop. But when you get into some of the real detailed subjects, it's really hard to take notes, read a biology book, chemistry book online. So kind of go into it very cautiously. But go onto the bookstore website, and there is a link there for it's for the iPad. Kindles, you'd have to go directly to the supplier of the Kindles to see what they have. There's more and more textbooks become available, but at this point, it's still kind of pretty early in the technology.
Any other questions? Oh, sir.
Okay, for purchasing a commuter meal plan, you could come to the card office today if you have time. Once again, we're on the second floor of Murray Herrick. Or the commuter meal plan forms can be downloaded off of the dining services website. So you go to the A to Z index at the stthomas.edu, click on dining services, and then it'll show meal plan options, and you can download the commuter meal plan forms. Commuters are not restricted by class rank. They can pick any meal plan that they want. So maybe your son or daughter just wants to eat in the dining room once in a while because all the freshmen that live on campus have to eat in there. They can pick one of the smaller meal plans so they can eat in the dining room once or twice a week.
Sir, did you have one earlier? I thought I saw your hand go up. Nope. Okay. Ma'am?
Sure. The question is the name of the pharmacy that's closest. It's about 6 blocks away, and that's Pro Pharmacy. And I believe it's on Cleveland and St. Clair, I think is the cross street.
And I believe there's a Walgreens down Grand Avenue as well. Not as close, but I know there's a Walgreens down that way as well, and possibly CVS. I guess the only other thing I was going to mention, besides the bookstore and the card office and health services, if a student is going to be commuting at all, can be driving onto the campus, and they don't have a parking permit, which actually as a freshman, it's pretty difficult to get a parking plan, or permit that is, and they do end up parking in the wrong area, handicap spot, whatever it may be, there could be a parking citation charge put on the student account. So it's just another charge that you could see on the student account that I just want to bring up or make you aware of. And if obviously there are any questions in regards to that, parking services can help you out with that. They would have more detail on that. So, FERPA? Well, FERPA, yeah, with the federal privacy law, it's as a student is an adult, and I did mention that earlier. There's a federal privacy law, and so we would need the student to authorize that it is okay to speak to you in regards to any of that detailed information. And I think it's as well with health services. Any detailed information in regards to the health information, they do have to fill out an authorized form with health services as well. So, any other questions? You in the back, yeah. That would be in parking services, which they're actually located right on Grand and Finn. So basically, right on Summit is Aquinas Hall, just right out here. Right across the street is Grand and Finn. They're located right in the corner, and parking services can help you out with that. Yes, their building is labeled. Yes, sorry about that. Any other questions? Hey, ma'am.
Okay, for the meal plans, freshmen can choose from block 225, 180, or 150. They all come with flex dollars. The smaller the meal plan, the more flex dollars they get. The meals you have to eat either here in the view in this building. The bins are the South Campus or Food for Thought in Minneapolis. The flex dollars you use in the a la carte locations.
Flex dollar works as far as the meals, meaning that when you buy that, like say, for example, excuse me, you buy 150 meals, you get a flex dollar of 230 to spend.
Correct, right. When you purchase, the question is when you purchase the block 150, you get the 230 flex dollars to go with it automatically. The computer, when you go to the dining room, they're going to look for a meal plan, unless you say that you want to use Flex or Express. When you go to the a la carte locations, looks for the Flex dollars, can't look for a meal plan, but then if you don't have Flex, they can look for Express. And when you go to the bookstore, they can't look for a meal plan or Flex. That's going to be Express. So it's all programmed by whatever location you go to, and that's why some of the things are just restricted to certain locations.
Any other questions? Well, I do appreciate all of you guys stopping by, and especially in this afternoon session. I know it's a beautiful day, and you guys have taken a lot of information, and it's going to be a lot of information that you're probably going to forget about when you get home. But if you do, please call. We're here to help you out as much as we can. Have a nice day.